This is Tamor Hussain standing in for reviewer David Wildgoose. Combat rarely lasts longer than a handful of rounds in the newest XCOM. In each encounter, Chimera Squad kicks in the door, dives headfirst into an intense firefight, and then walks out through a pile of bodies a minute or two later, dusting themselves down. A little scarred perhaps, but eager to do it all again in the very next mission. XCOM's turn-based tactical combat now comes in a condensed form, relieved of extraneous matter, and for the most part, all the better for it. Assuming the human resistance triumphed in XCOM 2, the eponymous Chimera Squad is a special task force composed of human and alien soldiers that also serve as a symbol of a newfound cooperation between species. Dissidents remain, however, and so when the mayor of City 31 is killed in a terrorist attack, it's up to the squad to track down those responsible. The stakes feel a lot lower than the global emergencies gripping previous XCOMs, yet the smaller scale of the situation dovetails perfectly with the tight-knit group of characters under your control and intimacy of the tactical maps on which they're deployed. There's a focus and clarity of purpose here that stands in sharp relief to the sprawling saga of the typical XCOM campaign. Chimera Squad feels like it spins the geoscope and puts just one city under the microscope. 9 districts comprise the strategic map, each day highlighting a few of them with new missions to undertake, some advancing the story, others providing valuable resources and gear. Ignoring one mission in favor of another will raise the level of unrest in the neglected district, and contribute to a citywide measure of anarchy that spells game over if it tops out. Despite the lower stakes, there's still an urgency to your missions, especially as the doomsday clock of city anarchy ticks closer to midnight, and the strategic layer does a decent job of forcing decisions over which missions and districts you need to prioritize, even if it's mostly a dry game of resource allocation that fails to evoke any kind of emotional response to the lives sacrificed along the way. Chimera Squad performs better when bringing to life the characters of the squad itself.
Elevators have been out for decades, so you get to take an alternate form of transport to the top.
If you say the water main, I'll strangle you.
Beyond the initial gang of 4, there's a roster of 11 named soldiers to be recruited over the course of the game, each of whom boasts a unique set of abilities that are unlocked as they gain experience, and I really mean unique. No 2 abilities are the same. Even when the broad roles they perform are similar, the specifics cunningly conspire to demand separate tactical considerations. Across a cast of 11 characters with 7 abilities each, 5 of which can be earned in any one playthrough, that's an impressively diverse tactical lineup. One that succeeds in etching distinct personality traits on each soldier through the substantial differences in their playstyles. Adding further character definition are the clever ways a soldier's loadout is both limited and given flexibility. Weapon use is restricted to just one class, but guns can be outfitted with multiple mods, and on later missions, you can discover one-off named weapons that confer a unique ability on its owner. Missions are designed around short, sharp bursts of action, and often split into multiple, but no more than 3 encounters confined to a handful of rooms that, in themselves, are much smaller than any map you'd find in recent XCOMs. The tactical choices start with the breach, where your decisions over who enters via the main door, the side window, the skylight, the imminent hole in the wall, and so on have immediate consequences. Here, you're determining the order in which your soldiers take their turns in the initial phase, the buffs they can apply, and the positions they'll take up once the fight gets underway. All of these choices are vital. Get them right and you'll tip the balance in your favor. Get them wrong and you'll have learned some lessons for next time. There's a coarseness to the feel of the tactical combat that contributes to the sense every decision matters. Actions are big and definitive. Outside of the odd boss encounter, you're never whittling away at an enemy's health bar. Shots deal damage by the wallop, and you can down many foes in 1, 2, or occasionally 3 hits. Abilities can often be more impactful than standard attacks, to the extent that I completed plenty of missions without firing a regular shot. Recognizing when the stars have aligned for you to deploy that battle-turning ability is an important tactical asset. Being able to plan ahead and, in the space of a turn, maneuver your squad and the enemy into position to take full advantage of said ability is invaluable. Not to mention endlessly satisfying when you pull it off. Less satisfying is the addition of androids to provide support to your squad. If, while on a multi-encounter mission, one squad member bleeds out, you're able to replace them with an android for the next encounter. I played through the campaign on the normal difficulty and called upon a replacement android just once, thus rendering the resources I invested in upgrading them pretty much wasted. I needed their service more frequently on the higher difficulties, but I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that anything I invested in backup troops would be better spent on my core squad. On the occasions one of my elite squad members went down, the untrained android sent in their place simply wasn't up to task. There's an uneasy balance here, one that left me feeling like I could only make poor decisions, and it's the one area where the tweaks to the XCOM formula aren't obviously successful. By stripping back XCOM combat to its bare minimum, Chimera Squad is able to make nearly all your choices vital. This isn't a series of small choices that slowly accumulate into something interesting. It operates more like a 1-2 punch of big decisions. You don't spend any time in an encounter here patiently edging forward, stationing your squad on overwatch, and wearing the enemy down. Instead, the enemy is right there in your face from the jump, and you've got to act now and decisively. Luckily, the Chimera Squad is there to back you up.